By the way, Bernie Sanders will not back, along with the other people that you were talking about, Bernie Sanders will not back any infrastructure deal if it's got higher gas taxes and higher fees on electric vehicles. Larry Kudlow joins us. Larry, just how can you quantify it for us? How strong is the left in these infrastructure negotiations?
Well, their position has been gradually weakening, actually, because they're not getting all the moderates in their party. But, Stu, I just want to amend. I'm not going to say I'm going to correct, but I'm going to amend what Susie Lee just reported. The Tax Policy Center did say that middle-class people, what I call the blue-collar middle class, will pay higher taxes under Biden's proposals. A piece of that is the higher capital gains tax, which will depress stock market returns. So there's an investment piece. There's also a consumer piece, because they're going to have to pay higher prices. But the biggest piece that Susie Lee forgot to mention is the corporate tax. And even the tax policy, which is kind of left of center, although it's a very capable outfit. Corporations don't pay taxes. Individuals pay taxes. And the Congressional Budget Office, among many others, Tax Foundation, myself, Kevin Hassett, and so forth, 70% of the burden of corporate taxes, 70%, falls on the middle-income working folks and lower middle-income working folks. So the point I'm making is, and this is where the Biden thing falls apart, his logic falls apart. If you take that tax from 21 to 28%, and if you add a domestic minimum tax, and if you add a global minimum tax, which looks like a windfall profits tax, you know, we surrendered our tax policy to the G7. Unfortunately, it's America last. And you add the capital gains tax, which is another tax on corporate profits, you are going to slam the middle class. Wages will go down because business profits and incentives will go down. Real wages will fall, productivity will fall, family incomes will fall. In other words, the villain in the story, which the left-wing Democrats do not understand or acknowledge, is raising the corporate tax. And final thought, when President Trump cut the corporate tax from 35 to 21, we had a boom. Record low unemployment across the board, including all the minority groups. Record 50-year lows at all the minority groups. Poverty fell, income inequality narrowed. So I'm just saying, the villain here, which no one wants to address, is the negative impact on the middle class of jacking up the corporate tax and, by the by, giving the G7 carte blanche. We used to be America first. I guess we're G7 first now or something.
Well, do you think that the Republicans in the House and or the Senate have enough power to stop any tax increase on individuals and any tax increase on corporations? Have they got that power?
Well, you know, it's the right question, Stu, and I can't give a definitive answer, but I think they're in a stronger position than they were 2 or 3 months ago. One reason for that is the economy is booming. A second reason for that is inflation is booming. Now, I happen to think the inflation is one-off, but whatever I think, it doesn't matter. Consumers are feeling the inflation pinch. It damages real income, and it may go on another month or 2 or 3. So that's damaging them, too. Also, they can't bring the moderates in the Senate in. Manchin and Sinema, maybe Tester, who doesn't like the increase in the estate tax, you know, eliminating the step-up in cap gains. So I think the Democrats are in a weaker spot. I was very interested in what Senator Sanders said on the weekend. Senator Sanders, by the way, is a very smart guy, runs the Budget Committee. It's an important position. But he hasn't yet done a regular order budget resolution, right? They haven't done a budget resolution, and the committees have not themselves reported out, so it would funnel into the Budget Committee, and that becomes a reconciliation package. So that's not done. Sanders did say, on the spending side, he was kind of okay with the extra $600 billion provided by the bipartisan coalition. It's the pay-fors that he disagrees with. And by the way, I'm opposed to a federal gas tax increase. Sure. But, as far as electric car fees are concerned, or electric car mileage fees, I'm in favor of that because that's essentially, you know, that's a progressive tax. Only wealthy people can afford to buy electric cars. So why not substitute? I think that works. But the other stuff, you know, taxing the rich and the corporate tax and everything else we just talked about is a non-starter. And I'm not sure it even passes the House at this point. And then, Stu, I read he wants to expand Medicare. All right, now that is a real non-starter.
Yep.
Look, Mr. Sanders wants to take Medicare down, as I understand it, to 60 years old or maybe 55 years old. Biden campaigned on 60. That is just wrong way. People live so much longer now. The trend has been to extend retirement age. Retirement could easily, gradually, over a period of time, go to 71, 72, 73, 74 years old. And that would save a ton of money and help the system reach solvency.
Don't hold your breath getting there,
I don't know how old you are.
Larry, I'm terribly sorry. I've got to stop. I've got a hard break coming right up on me. And I've got to tell our audience that whilst you and I were talking, Larry, I saw Bitcoin go down to 29.1. That's quite a drop, and it's 29.1 as we speak. Got to alert that. Larry Kudlow, thank you very much indeed, sir. All right.